The case which you're about to see is a fictional one. The procedure, however, is legally accurate. The characters are played by actors, but the jury is selected from members of the public.
You are Mr. Michael Greenham of Priorsfield, Buckley, near Fulchester.
Yes.
Mr. Michael Greenham, a hospital consultant surgeon, claims that Sheila Quentin and the Fulchester Gazette libelled him in publishing comments that he, Greenham, negligently caused the death of one of his patients, 74-year-old William Broadbent.
And in May 1978, I was appointed senior cardiothoracic surgeon at Fulchester Royal Infirmary.
And this was reported in the press?
Yes. The Fulchester Chronicle carried the usual career resume. The Fulchester Gazette published...
Yes, Dr. Green?
What I can only describe as an attack rather than a report.
Is this the article in question, agreed document number 1, my lord?
Yes.
Now, as can be seen, this article was published in the Fulchester Gazette on June the 24th, 1978. And this article states that a patient of yours, one William Broadbent, was ill-treated whilst at your hospital. Is this true?
It is completely false.
And the article goes on that despite a violent disagreement within the hospital over discharging Mr. Broadbent, Greenham went along with the discharge. Mr. Broadbent was readmitted in a critical state 2 days later, and within a week was dead. Is that true?
It is totally misleading. There was no violent disagreement within the hospital when the decision was taken. On the day of discharge, one social worker registered her disagreement, that is all. Mr. Broadbent was readmitted because he was ill, but not then critical.
Did Mr. Broadbent die within the week?
He did, and I very much regret that.
I'm sure you do. There's also a comment here by Mrs. Sheila Quentin of OSAC, that is, the Over 60s Action Committee. She says, the health service, rather than promoting Dr. Greenham, should be seriously questioning whether he should be serving this community as a consultant at all. There is little doubt, fresh evidence now shows, that his negligence in prematurely discharging 74-year-old William Broadbent caused his death. Is that fair comment?
It is most unfair comment. It is a scandalous comment for anyone to make.
Damaging to your professional reputation?
Very, very damaging. People who know me well, patients, colleagues, know that there can be no foundation to it. But you can imagine what a new patient thinks having read that article.
Quite. Now, when was William Broadbent your patient?
From November 1977 to the 1st of March 1978, when he died.
Was there an inquest?
As it was a sudden death, yes. The verdict was natural causes, bronchopneumonia.
Did the coroner attach any comments to that statement, the verdict?
No, my lord.
Yes?
Thank you, my lord. Was the death reported in any of the local newspapers at that time?
Yes, in the Fulchester Gazette of March 4th. This said that there had been allegations of ill treatment and that there should be an inquiry.
Did you object to that?
The hospital did. That article did not mention me personally.
And was there indeed an inquiry?
Yes. 2 area health authority members sat on it. They found that there was no ill treatment and that the discharge had been carried out with all necessary care and attention.
The results of the inquiry are agreed document number 6, my lord, with a diary of events relating to Mr. Broadbent's admission, discharge, and later readmission. Would you please tell us about this patient?
Mr. Broadbent was admitted with severe peritonitis, which responded to treatment. His problems were aggravated by a fractured femur, which he had sustained early in 1976 and which had not mended well. This meant he had walking difficulties using 2 sticks and or a frame. By the end of January, however, we felt that he was well enough to leave.
We?
The ward sister, my registrar, the medical team.
I see, yes.
Well, by late January, you say?
Yes. The condition for which he'd been admitted had cleared up. It was really a matter of convalescence and mobilizing him until he was sufficiently well to walk.
Let me clarify this. You had done all that you could for him medically by late January.
Before that, active treatment had ceased by the first week of January.
So then from that time, it was merely a question of waiting until he was on his feet and ready to go home.
That's correct.
Mr. Broadbent was discharged at his own request?
My lord, that is strongly disputed, and my learned friend is putting words into the witness's mouth.
Yes, I think you should rephrase that, Mr. Elliot.
Certainly, my lord. When did you decide to discharge William Broadbent?
February 16th, at a ward round. My ward sister reported that he was walking much better and was up for longer periods. I asked him what he felt about leaving, and he said, the sooner I get out of this place, the better.
The sooner I get out, the better. Did he say anything else?
If you're ever round at the wheat sheaf, I'll buy you a pint. Mrs. Hawley, my ward sister, made all the arrangements, home help, district nurse, and so on, and on the following Monday he was discharged. You must understand, he was never going to be a very well man. He was 74, and he wanted to go home. He caught an infection, which turned into bronchopneumonia. We did all we could for him when he was readmitted, but he'd had too many illnesses to have much fight left.
Mr. Greenham, do you consider that you were negligent in any way?
No, I do not. I certainly do not.
Was the patient's release, as the defendant, Mrs. Quentin, says, premature?
On the contrary, he was in danger of becoming hospitalized. I felt, on balance, he was more likely to improve further at home rather than in a hospital. If events seem to have proved me wrong, I still think it was the correct decision, and I would take it again.
How old are you, Doctor?
41.
Is that old, young, or average to be a senior consultant?
On the young side.
You're a specialist in cardiothoracic disorders. Have you published?
Yes, I have. I've published 22 papers, here and abroad.
So it would be true to say, then, that you enjoy a considerable professional reputation?
Yes. Much of it derived from work I've done here. Work that I'm finding increasingly difficult to do because of what I would call an organized campaign against the hospital and myself in particular.
Thank you, Mr. Greenham.
Mr. Greenham, the patient in question, Mr. Broadbent, was admitted to hospital with peritonitis, was he not? And that has nothing to do with the heart or the chest, has it?
No, it's an inflammation of the membrane covering the stomach, intestines, etc.
Yes, quite so. But you are a cardiothoracic surgeon, which means that you specialize in the heart and the lungs.
Yes, but at times the ward is on take, which means that we take whatever emergency comes into the hospital.
Whether, as in this case, it has anything to do with the chest or not.
Yes. We do have a general medical training before we specialize.
Yes, quite so.
Mr. Lattimore, where is this taking us?
My lord, the defence to this charge is that the facts reported are true and the comment fair. Mrs. Quentin, the defendant, did not question Mr. Greenham's excellent professional reputation. She did question whether he was serving this community, that is to say the local community, in a proper manner.
I see. Go on.
Now, Mr. Greenham, the Royal is a teaching hospital of some repute.
Yes.
Moreover, in addition to serving the local community, you take patients from all over the country.
And from abroad sometimes, if they're referred for specialist knowledge.
Yes. And you prefer to treat those particular patients?
I prefer to treat cardiac patients because that is my field. It doesn't mean I neglect the others.
Nevertheless, I suggest to you that the others are lower down on your list of priorities.
I don't have any such list. I see my patients, I treat them.
I see. Now, you say that by late January, Mr. Broadbent had responded to treatment for peritonitis.
Yes, he was simply being nursed.
And did you therefore suggest that he should be moved to the geriatric ward?
Yes. The geriatric ward was full.
It usually is?
It always is. There's a long waiting list.
Yes. So this meant that Mr. Broadbent was, how would you describe it, blocking one of your beds?
Holding up the treatment of other patients with serious heart conditions is how I would describe it.
Yes, and that was frustrating.
For a patient waiting to come in, it was more than frustrating. It could mean the difference between life and death.
I meant frustrating for you, Mr. Greenham.
Yes, it's always frustrating when the unit's not being used for its proper purpose.
Proper purpose? What do you mean by proper purpose?
There is special, very expensive equipment on a cardiothoracic unit, which is designed for heart surgery.
Yes, and therefore no man like Mr. Broadbent who just needs nursing is wasting that equipment.
Obviously.
And do you think that justifies discharging a patient even if it puts his life at risk?
No, I certainly do not.
Nevertheless, Mr. Greenham, I suggest to you that that is precisely what you did with Mr. Broadbent.
I did not. I would never do such a contemptible thing, and I resent the suggestion.
I see. Well, now, on February the 9th, that is to say about 2 weeks before Mr. Broadbent was discharged on February the 21st, did you not say, Broadbent is a bloody nuisance and I want him out?
I did not.
Well, I have a witness, Jane Goddard, who will say that you did.
Yes, I have no doubt she will.
Well, at any rate, you did say that you wanted him discharged.
I said that I thought he was medically fit to go. Miss Goddard...
And Miss Goddard is...
was the social worker on the cardiothoracic unit, my lord. I asked her to have another look at the social circumstances and to see if he could be discharged home or to Part 3.
Part 3?
That means an old people's home, my lord.
Oh, does it?
She said she would look into it.
And?
The following week, Miss Goddard was on a course or something. She had done nothing at all. My ward sister, Mrs. Hawley, had spoken to a relative, Mr. Broadbent's son, who promised support. The old man still seemed keen to go, so Mrs. Hawley arranged services. District nurse, home help, meals on wheels.
And when Miss Goddard did return and found that Mr. Broadbent was being discharged?
She felt slighted.
Slighted?
Because the decision had been taken and Mrs. Hawley had made the arrangements.
Or perhaps because you had gone behind her back.
What nonsense. We'd been talking about his release for weeks. I had asked her. She hadn't done anything.
Well, she hadn't done anything because she thought the discharge was unsuitable.
Well, she was more vehement about that after the discharge. Her pride was hurt. She felt she hadn't been consulted enough, and so she decided to be as unhelpful as possible.
Unhelpful?
When an old person is leaving the ward after a long period of hospitalization, a lot depends on his state of mind. If you talk to a person positively, he starts to believe he can do things, and very often does them. I'm afraid Miss Goddard, after disagreeing with the discharge, was determined that it wasn't going to work.
You mean she deliberately... What do you mean?
I mean she was sure she was right. So she talked to the old man about the problems of going home, until he got into a thoroughly negative, depressed frame of mind about it.
Nevertheless, the fact remains that when it came to the point, he did not want to go.
He was positive when I saw him. That's the point. When I made the decision, he was keen to go.
I see. Now then, could he walk?
With a frame?
Did you see him walk?
No, I went by what my ward sister told me.
Really? Well, he needed an ejector seat, did he not?
A what?
A spring device, my lord, for assisting the frail elderly to rise.
Thank you.
An ejector seat was supplied by the occupational therapist, who also checked on the arrangements of the furniture in his flat.
Where he lived alone?
Yes.
Now, was he incontinent?
Not when he left the hospital.
But the district nurse reported him as being incontinent, did she not?
I believe so.
Doubly incontinent?
I believe so.
Now, evidence will be brought to show that the ejector seat did not work. It would be necessary, therefore, for the district nurse to put Mr. Broadbent on the lavatory, and furthermore, for her visits to coincide with his bowel movements. And yet, you tell this court that the decision to release him was the correct one, and that you would do it again?
I would. He was fit when he left the hospital. You cannot say how someone is going to react until he is actually home.
No, didn't the social worker tell you?
I think even Miss Goddard, with all her undoubted qualities, is unable to foretell the future.
Fulchester Area Health Authority report on the discharge of the elderly, my lord.
Does this predate Mr. Broadbent's discharge?
By 6 months, my lord. It is dated September 1977.
See.
Now, Mr. Greenham, this report covers your hospital, does it not?
Yes.
Now, paragraph 18, and I quote, "The consultant makes the decision to discharge a patient, and this is right. But discharge of the frail elderly should be undertaken only after the fullest consultation with all those concerned in hospital and aftercare. The pre-discharge case conference is therefore crucial." Now, did you, in fact, hold such a case conference on Mr. Broadbent?
Read the heading at the top of those paragraphs.
Please answer the question. Did you hold such a case conference?
My lord, this is grossly unfair. These are recommendations, never implemented.
You must answer learned counsel's question, Mr. Greenham.
There was no such conference, no.
Thank you, Mr. Greenham. Now, paragraph 19, which is a checklist of people to be consulted in the discharge of the elderly. Did you, for example, consult the occupational therapist?
The ward sister did.
Now, I'm asking if you did.
No.
Mr. Broadbent's general practitioner, did you consult him?
No.
The district nurse or liaison district nurse, who I believe visits the wards regularly, did you consult her?
This is absurd. No.
I see. Now then, paragraph 23, and I quote, when the general practitioner does not attend a pre-discharge case conference, every effort should be made to contact him before discharge. Now, did you arrange for Mr. Broadbent's general practitioner to be contacted?
Yes.
When?
On the day of discharge.
Well, I believe that Dr. Stanton will say that he was not contacted on that day.
A standard letter informing him of the discharge was sent to him.
A letter? Is that the normal procedure?
Yes, my lord, the houseman arranges it. You can't inform the GP until the actual discharge, because 1,001 things can happen to prevent it.
I see. Yep.
Dr. Stanton did not, in fact, receive the letter until 3 days after Mr. Broadbent's discharge, did he?
I believe that is correct.
By which time he, Broadbent, had been readmitted to hospital.
Yes.
Now then, is the GP never telephoned when a patient at risk is being discharged?
Sometimes, but I did not consider Mr. Broadbent to be at risk to that extent.
Oh, really, Mr. Greenham, are you asking this court to believe that an old man, recently ill, who cannot walk and who lives alone, is not at risk to that extent?
He had recovered, and he could walk when discharged.
Mr. Greenham, let us come to the heart of this matter. You knew, did you not, that William Broadbent could not survive outside the hospital?
My lord, I must object.
Mr. Lattimore, that is a very serious allegation.
A man died, my lord.
Are you suggesting that he sent Mr. Broadbent out of hospital knowing he would die?
Well, not necessarily, my lord, but certainly knowing that he would have to be readmitted.
Knowing he'd be readmitted? What's the point of that?
Well, my lord, if it is engineered in the right way, a patient can be readmitted as an emergency and thus jump the queue into the geriatric ward.
Is that what you intended for Mr. Broadbent?
Of course not. He needed to get out of the hospital if he was ever going to be independent again, and there was no thought of him being readmitted.
On the contrary, Mr. Greenham, I suggest to you that your prime concern in this matter was not for your patient, but to free that bed.
My prime concern is always for my patient.
Now, these area health authority recommendations on which my learned friend has laid such stress, have these recommendations ever been adopted or ever implemented into the procedure?
No. All consultants in all hospitals in the area have found them extremely worthy but totally impracticable. You can't get 13 people round a table, ranging from the consultant to the Meals on Wheels supervisor, every time an old person is discharged from hospital. The hospital system, which is in a fairly frail state itself, would finally seize up.
And judging from this report, the discharging of people, of elderly people from hospital, would appear to be a considerable problem.
Yes, and one of much controversy. People in the community don't always see the therapeutic advantage of discharge as soon as the active treatment has ceased. What seems to them premature may be a decision taken to stop the patient degenerating into permanent dependence.
One final question. When William Broadbent was readmitted into hospital, what ward did he go to?
My ward.
Thank you, Mr. Greenham. Mrs. Hawley, you were the ward sister when William Broadbent was treated for peritonitis, November 1977 to March 1st, 1978.
Yes.
Do you remember him?
He was a nice old man. Ordinary. Spitfire.
Spitfire?
That's what the nurses used to call him.
Because he was rather lively?
Because he wasn't. He used to sit by his bed making the same model aeroplane day after day as Spitfire. He always got the wings wrong.
Thank you.
Do you remember a ward rounds meeting on February the 9th, 1978?
Yes.
How was this patient, William Broadbent, at that meeting discussed?
Yes. I thought he was ready to go home. Miss Goddard, the social worker, was worried about him coping on his own. Mr. Greenham said that he'd stop doing things for himself if we kept him in much longer. He said it was a great nuisance. In fact, he said it was a bloody nuisance because we did have a...
Just a moment. He said the situation was a bloody nuisance, did he?
Yes.
Not Mr. Broadbent?
No.
Why was it a bloody nuisance?
Mr. Greenham was worried because we had 3 patients with faulty heart valves who we couldn't get into the ward because there were 6 geriatrics blocking the beds. We could have relieved these people's suffering if we could have got them into the ward. Mr. Greenham's marvellous at valve surgery.
Thank you, Mrs. Hawley. Yes.
What decision was reached on the February 9th ward round?
Well, no decision. Miss Goddard said she'd asked Mr. Broadbent how he felt about an old people's home.
The next ward round, that would be February the 16th?
Yes. Mr. Greenham talked to Mr. Broadbent about his discharge.
You were there?
Yes. He said he wanted to get out of the place. He said he'd buy the doctor a beer. I had a long chat with him afterwards, and he was livelier than I'd seen him. He started making plans.
Plans? What plans?
It was his birthday on March the 10th, and he said he could have his birthday at home and finish his Spitfire for his grandson. He said he liked giving people presents on his birthday. He was really very happy about it.
I would like to be absolutely clear about this. Would it be true to say that of all the people involved in a patient's discharge from hospital, the ward sister is of key importance?
Oh, yes. You're watching all the time. I listened to what my nurses tell me. He was fit and he wanted to go. No old person would leave my ward unless I felt he could cope.
Now, when he left your care, was he continent?
Yes. You can check from the cardex, the medical cards. He had a urinary infection in January, and he was incontinent then, but that was cleared up by sulfonamides.
After the decision to discharge Mr. Broadbent was made, what action did you take?
Well, as Miss Goddard was away that week, I arranged all the services for him.
Now normally that would be her job, would it not?
Yes. I arranged Meals on Wheels, home help every day, district nurse morning and afternoon, and OT, that's occupational therapy, 5 times a week. Oh, and...
Yes?
I contacted Mr. Broadbent's son, who said he'd visit him immediately he got home.
Negligence in prematurely discharging 74-year-old William Broadbent caused his death. Do you hold that to be fair comment?
What negligence? How could there be negligence? All the services were alerted. He was fit when he left my ward. I swear that, my lord. I don't know why she spread such lies. Well, I do.
What do you mean by that?
It's because Mr. Greenham had her thrown out of the hospital.
Mrs. Quentin?
Yes. Mrs. Quentin is one of those people who is not happy unless she's protesting about something.
Yes.
I think she was born under a banner. Well, of course there's things wrong with the hospital. Of course there are, because there isn't enough money.
Mr. Greenham had her thrown out. When?
March 1977. She'd set herself up as an old people's champion, and she was distributing leaflets in the ward.
Leaflets?
A patient's rights, how to get a second opinion, discharge, or how to die at home. Those were some of the titles. She was upsetting all my old patients. They didn't want to hear about all her cranky ideas. I asked her to leave until I was blue in the face, and then finally I had to phone Mr. Greenham, and he had her thrown out by security. And she said to me then, someone will die, and there'll be a stink, and I'm the one who'll make it.
Yes.
You're suggesting that this article is the stink, are you?
Well, of course it is. She's just been waiting for something like this that she can twist around and get back at Mr. Greenham.
The case of Greenham against Quentin and the Fulchester Gazette will be continued in the Crown Court tomorrow. The case which you're about to see is a fictional one. The procedure, however, is legally accurate. The characters are played by actors, but the jury is selected from members of the public.
Mrs. Hawley, would you describe yourself as a cheerful person?
What?
A cheerful person.
What's that got to do with it?
Just answer the question, Mrs. Hawley.
Yes, well, it's better than being miserable, isn't it?
Certainly. I mean, you like to look on the bright side of things to keep people's spirits up.
Yes, well, that's part of being a nurse.
Mr. Greenham, a consultant surgeon, has accused Mrs. Sheila Quentin and the Fulchester Gazette of libel by stating that his negligence in prematurely discharging 74-year-old William Broadbent from hospital caused his death. Mrs. Hawley, the sister on Mr. Greenham's ward, is being cross-examined.
Mrs. Hawley, how well did you know Mr. Broadbent?
Oh, well, I got to know him well. He was in my ward for 4 months.
Yes, I see. What job did he do before he retired?
I don't know. He didn't talk about it.
Oh, really? Well, what did he talk about?
His model aeroplane. Oh, there was the usual banter, little joke about flying him home in it, you know.
Yes. Did he ever talk about dying?
No.
Did he ever say that he was depressed?
No.
Well, did he ever confide in you?
Confide?
You know, talk about his problems.
Walking, you mean?
No, I don't mean that at all. I mean domestic problems. I mean the sort of problems an old man has to face when he's discharged from hospital and leaves hospital to live alone.
Well, he said he could manage, and he said it would be nice to be home.
I see.
Well, it's Miss Goddard's job to talk about that sort of thing.
You mean the social worker's job?
Yes.
I see. You see, I'm not criticising you. I mean, you run a busy ward involved in heart surgery. You don't have much time to spare for a man like Mr. Broadbent, who was convalescing. Would that be right?
Well, yes.
And Mr. Broadbent was rather a quiet man, a close man, who did not give much away.
He was, yes.
And so, again, without any reflection on you, it is possible that you had no idea what was going on in his mind at all.
Of course I did. I spoke. I knew him. I spoke
Yes,
to
but
him.
I mean, it is feasible. I'm not saying that it was so, but it is feasible, is it not, that a man of Mr. Broadbent's personality, a close man, might be inwardly terrified at the thought of being marooned at home and yet be ashamed to show it, and therefore feel obliged to accept your optimism and that of Mr. Greenham.
He could manage, and he wanted to go.
Did he ever say that he did not want to go?
No.
Well, I suggest to you that he did say that, Mrs. Hawley, on the day of his discharge, February the 21st.
He did not.
Are you sure, Mrs. Hawley?
Yes.
What mood was he in on the day of his discharge?
Up and down.
Up and down?
Well, like it is with old people. Everything's been done for them for weeks, for months. They've had a lot of attention, and then suddenly they realise they're going home and they get a bit babyish.
Did Mr. Broadbent get a little babyish?
Yes, but I helped dress him, and then he cheered up and was looking forward to it again.
You dressed him?
I helped.
Why?
Why?
Yes, why? I mean, is not that a nurse's job?
Well, I helped the nurse. We were short-handed, and I wanted to be sure he was ready for the ambulance.
I see. Now, will you look at this picture, please? Agreed exhibit number 3, my lord.
Number 3.
Number 3. Now, this picture, the one that was published in the newspaper, will be testified as having been taken on February the 22nd, shortly before Mr. Broadbent was readmitted to hospital. Now, Mrs. Hawley, is that Mr. Broadbent?
Yes.
And there are scratches and bruises at the back of his hands, are there not?
It would seem so, yes.
Do you know how he got them?
No. Old people bruise very easily.
I see. Now, you say that you went to help the nurse to dress him because he was being a little babyish.
Yes.
In what way?
Awkward, you know.
No, I don't know. Would you please tell the court what you mean?
His trousers. There was a hole in the seat, and he didn't want to wear them, but it was the only pair he had there, and he said he wasn't going to get dressed. He didn't say he wasn't going to go.
Was he forced into his clothes?
No.
Mrs. Hawley, a witness will testify that Mr. Broadbent told her that he was forced into his clothes and that is how he sustained those bruises and scratches.
You are repeating the lies that Mrs. Quentin put into that poor old man's head after he was discharged.
Am I see. Well, then let me put it in another way. When you dressed Mr. Broadbent, did he struggle?
I know this is not easy for you, Mrs. Hawley, but you must answer learned counsel's question.
I'm sorry,
Carry on.
Well, I don't know what to say. He was confused. Miss Goddard confused him. He was all right till she spoke to him.
Did he struggle?
Yes. Well, no, not like that. Well, he was a very difficult old man, changeable, like they often are. You arrange all the services and then they don't want to go, and you're at the end of your tether and you've worked for 40 hours a day and you need the bed and the old person shouldn't be in the bed anyway, and, well, you've no idea what it's like.
I think you've pursued this far enough.
As your lordship pleases, but one more point, my lord.
Very well, but briefly.
Very well. Mrs. Hawley, there was a lot of pressure in your ward on that particular Monday morning, was there not?
Yes, there was.
Yes. And do you think if you'd had more time on that particular Monday, you would have had second thoughts about this particular discharge?
He was fit to go.
He was dead 7 days later, Mrs. Hawley.
He caught a chest infection. I swear on the Bible he was fit when he left my ward. When any old person goes, I look at him very carefully, and if I'm worried, I ask the houseman to look at him, and if there's any doubt in our minds, that old person will not leave my ward whether we need the bed or not. He caught a chest infection.
Thank you, Mrs. Hawley.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Hawley, I won't keep you much longer. How tall was William Broadbent?
Over 6 feet, 6'1".
What did he weigh?
Between 10 and 11 stone.
So although frail, he was a fair weight.
Yes.
How did you dress him? Describe it.
He was in his underclothes when I got there. We helped him put on a shirt, and then we put his legs into his trousers, rolling them up, and then we helped him to stand, and we pulled up his trousers, and then we sat him down again and put on his jacket.
Now, if he had not cooperated with you, at least in part, would you have been able to do all that?
Well, of course not. We couldn't even have lifted him if he didn't want us to, let alone dress him. Well, we may have been a bit firm with him when he was playing up, but how could anybody call that ill treatment?
Thank you, Mrs. Hawley, that's all.
You may leave the box, Mrs. Hawley.
You are William Broadbent's son, his sole surviving relative.
That's right, sir, yes.
Now, prior to his release, did you ever visit your father in hospital?
Every week when I was in Fulchester, yes, sir.
Did he ever make any comments as to the treatment he received whilst there?
He was full of praise for the doctor and the nurses. He told me he wanted to come out. So I had a chat with Sister, Mrs. Hawley, about it. Well, we knew it wasn't going to be easy. He was such an independent old man. But he wanted to make a go of it. So I popped round to his flat and fixed his telly for him, the remote control.
You were quite happy at his discharge from hospital?
Yes, my lord, yes.
Now, may we come to the evening of Wednesday, the 23rd of February. Did you receive a visit from the defendant, Mrs. Quentin?
Yes, I did.
Now, will you please tell the court the nature of that meeting?
She turned up on my doorstep with a photographer. Would I give her an interview? It was like something on television. What did I think of the vicious treatment of my father? Turned out of hospital, left alone to die in his flat. But all she seemed interested in doing was throwing mud at the hospital. She didn't care a bit for old Bill. She even tried to stop me getting into my car to visit him at the hospital. They tried to save his life, and they tried damned hard. I mean, Mrs. Hawley was marvellous. She stayed on after her shift. And then they go and write that sort of muck.
Mr. Broadbent, you say that Mrs. Quentin tried to stop you getting into your car as you were on the way to the hospital.
That's right. Posed for the camera. Looked shocked and angry.
Well, am I to presume from your evidence that the first time you heard of your father's last illness and of his readmission to hospital was from Mrs. Quentin on that occasion?
That's right, yes.
How was that?
How was that?
Oh, did you not go to see your father at home after his discharge?
No.
No.
I had an emergency. I was away working in Scotland.
But I presume that you had been to see him in hospital before you went up to Scotland?
A week before, Sunday, yes.
How was he then?
Well, he was quite well, really. Well, chirpy.
I see. Now, when you went to see him in hospital later, that is after his readmission and after your return from Scotland, did you notice his hands and arms?
Yes, I did. Well, mainly because of Mrs. Quentin's accusations. Well, I think the photograph and the pose exaggerates it. But yes, they were bruised and scratched.
Did you ask him about that?
Yes, I did. I said, "What's happened here, Dad?" He said he'd been having a go at the nurses. I asked him what he meant, but he just rambled. I couldn't press him.
Were you with him when he died?
Yes?
And did you, at any time after he had died, consider that the discharge had been unsuitable and that it had led to his death?
I don't know. I don't know what I thought. I don't think I thought anything. I was cut up about it.
I'd just like to clarify this for the jury. From what you yourself saw, do you consider the hospital was negligent in discharging your father as they did?
No, I do not. Well, they did everything they could for him. Well, it's not reasonable, is it? They couldn't keep him there forever. I'd have had him at home. But she wouldn't. What can you do? What can anyone do? You can blame me if you like. How can you blame them? One thing I am sure about. They don't deserve to have that sort of muck thrown at them.
Now, Mrs. Quentin, these comments which are ascribed to you, did you in fact make them?
I did, yes. I made a few more that they wouldn't print. I think
I think we'll confine ourselves to these comments, if you don't mind, Mrs. Quentin.
All right.
And do you consider them to be fair comments?
Well, considering what happened to Mr. Broadbent, I think they err on the side of generosity. Yes, they are fair comments.
I see. And are these comments a reaction relating solely to this one incident?
No, it's the proverbial long story.
Yes, well, make it as short as possible, if you can.
Well, it started when I joined the Fulchester South Community Health Council in 1976. The CHC produced a report on geriatric discharge, particularly from the Fulchester Royal Infirmary.
Yes, this is agreed document number 4, my lord.
Yes, very well.
I did some work on the report, which was considerably watered down.
What did it say?
It expressed grave concern. The CHC is very good at expressing grave concern, almost as good as the doctors are at ignoring it. Inquiries I made showed that some wards were worse than others for prematurely discharging old people. I made a list of the consultants on these wards.
Oh, my lord, the agreed document contains no such list.
It was deleted from the report, my lord.
By the CHC?
Yes.
Why was that?
Because they were frightened of standing where I'm standing now. That's why I resigned from the CHC.
Over the list?
Yes.
Mr. Lattimore, we have only this witness's testimony for what I suppose should be called this blacklist.
Indeed, my lord.
Very well. With that in mind, you may proceed.
Thank you, my lord. Now, Mrs. Quentin, how did you prepare this list?
Legwork. I saw every old person discharged from the Royal over a period of 6 months. And a number of consultants emerged who I thought was discharging the frail elderly too soon. His name popped up quite frequently.
You mean the plaintiffs did?
Mr. Greenham's, yes. I discovered he was a past master at Hospital Roulette.
Just a minute. Hospital Roulette?
Yes, that's not my name for it, yes. Any consultant may have 10 or a dozen beds. Because wards take it in turn to handle emergencies, the consultant's acute beds gradually fill up with elderly long stays. They can't be moved directly to the geriatric ward because of the waiting list. But if one can be got home and a geriatrician persuaded to make a domiciliary, then they can be whisked back into the geriatric ward as an emergency.
And that was what, in your view, was planned for Mr. Broadbent, eh?
I'm sure of it, yes. Old people in hospital rank fairly low on the list of priorities, my lord.
I think, Mr. Lattimore, that you should move on to the more specific allegations about Mr. Broadbent.
As your lordship pleases. Now, did you see Mr. Broadbent on the day of his discharge? That is on February the 21st.
Yes, I did.
How was it that you became involved?
Well, his home help, Mrs. Drake, telephoned me. I got there about 5:30. Mrs. Drake was beside herself. She'd cleaned him up, taken off his trousers, and wrapped a blanket round him. He couldn't walk or get out of his chair. I asked him about his hands, which were scratched and bruised, and he told me that Sister and another nurse had done it, forcing on his shirt and jacket. He told me he had not wanted to leave hospital. We made him some tea and got him to bed. He seemed a little better, but very exhausted. Then Miss Goddard arrived.
Yes, and she is the hospital social worker.
Yes. We had a somewhat violent exchange. She was speaking up for the hospital then. Well, she stayed to wait for the district nurse, and Mrs. Drake and I left to telephone the local paper. When I returned the following day with the photographer from the Gazette, I found that Mr. Broadbent's GP had kicked up a stink and was having him readmitted.
He couldn't walk.
No, he could not.
Or you said get out of his chair.
No, he was sitting there in his own mess. Of course he caught pneumonia. It would have been a miracle if he'd avoided it.
Well, what about the ejector seat provided to help him get out of his chair?
It didn't work.
The occupational therapist found that it did.
When she put in a new spring on Tuesday, yes.
Now, her report testifies that that was put in more for psychological reasons to satisfy Mr. Broadbent, and then when she checked it on the Monday, it was perfectly operational.
Well, it wasn't.
Oh, you've worked a lot with the elderly. You know about these various aids?
I have and I do.
Or did you look at the seat then to see what was wrong?
He couldn't work it, that's the point.
No, Mrs. Quentin. Point learned counsel is trying to make is, did you look at it or did you not?
No.
Why not?
It was a secondary consideration. I was more concerned to get him to bed.
Well, I shall return to that. Bed. Now, that would be in the next room.
Yes.
How did he get there?
Well, we lifted him out of his chair.
Yes.
And put him to bed.
Did you carry him there?
He used his Zimmer.
His walking frame?
Yes.
He walked?
Yes.
You've just told the court, through my learned friend, that he could not walk.
He walked very slowly and feebly, with one of us ready to support him all the time. If you want to call that walking, he walked...
Yes, I do call it walking. Thank you very much. Now, would you please remind us of the geography of this flat? Where is the toilet?
Between the bedroom and the living room.
So if he'd used his ejector seat, he could have walked to the toilet.
I've already told you he could not use the seat.
Please don't shout, Mrs. Quentin.
I'm sorry.
If he had used the ejector seat, he could have walked to the toilet.
Yes, I suppose you can say that.
Thank you. Now to your somewhat stormy period with the Community Health Council, from which you say you resigned.
Yes.
Because they watered down your report.
Yes.
When did you leave the Community Health Council?
April 1976.
That would be less than a month then after this incident.
Thereabouts, yes.
Mrs. Quentin, I suggest you didn't resign at all. I suggest you were thrown out just as you were thrown out of that hospital ward.
I resigned.
Yes, because you had to.
Nothing of the sort.
Did you, or do you, harbour any grievance towards Mr. Greenham stemming from that incident?
None whatsoever.
Mrs. Quentin, this is most important. You telling the court that you felt no resentment at all towards Mr. Greenham following this?
Yes.
See?
I'm not concerned with petty personal vendettas. We visited all the wards. I'm fighting against an attitude some consultants has, not against any particular person.
I see. Go on, Mr. Elliot.
I have many faults, but if you think they include dissembling of that kind, then you're no judge of character.
Well, that's for the jury, Mrs. Quentin. But let's have a look at your character in action, shall we? Now, your badge, OSAC. That stands, I believe, for the Over 60s Action Committee, correct?
Yes.
Now, would Mrs. Drake, the late Mr. Broadbent's home help, would she, by any chance, be a member of your group?
Yes, that's why she phoned me.
And were you aware that Mr. Broadbent was from Mr. Greenham's ward?
No.
No?
No. Well, at least not at first. We were too appalled to... But I did learn that he was Mr. Greenham's patient later, yes. Either from him or Miss Goddard.
Or, I suggest, from Mrs. Drake.
No.
What was your reaction?
I was not surprised.
Well, did you phone for a doctor?
No.
Why not, if he was so ill, if you were so appalled?
Well, Miss Goddard arrived.
Was she a doctor?
No, but I understood from her that the district nurse was due.
Due? Overdue, in fact.
Yes.
Well, did you at least check and see if and when the district nurse would arrive?
No.
No, what you did was to telephone the editor of the Fulchester Gazette.
Yes. So?
And what time was this?
About 7 o'clock.
Was the newspaper office open?
No, I phoned the editor at home.
You phoned the editor at home. Mrs. Quentin, I suggest you knew straightway when Mrs. Drake phoned you that he was Greenham's patient. Let's for a moment reconsider your actions. Now, the old man says the ejector seat doesn't work, but you don't look at it, although you tell us you know about these various aids. You convince yourself apparently that he can't walk, and yet he walked from his living room to his bedroom. You're appalled by his condition, and yet the emergency action that you take is not to telephone a doctor or the district nurse who's late, but to telephone the editor of the Fulchester Gazette. Oh, you may well have been concerned about Mr. Broadbent, but I suggest that your concern was buried in the zeal and fervour of your cause. Now, that was your main concern, was it not?
No. I helped put him to bed. I wept, if you want to know. I'm not given to tears, but I just stood there and wept.
You stood there and cried as you telephoned the editor?
Yes, I phoned the newspaper. There was nothing more I could do for the poor old man. But I thought whoever is responsible for this is not going to get away with it. If it's wrong to think like that, then I'm absolutely wrong, and I'll go on being wrong.
Thank you, Mrs. Quentin. Nothing further.
The following week I was away in a course, so I missed the next ward round. On the Monday morning I came back.
Miss Goddard, that will be on the 21st of February.
Yes. Mrs. Sullivan, the Meals on Wheels organiser, rang and said she couldn't deliver a meal to Mr. Broadbent that day. I was stunned. I didn't even realise he was being discharged.
Right, so what did you do?
I rang the ward. It was only then I found out he was due to go home at 10:30. So I saw Sister Hawley.
At what time was this?
9, 15:15. I told her I didn't think he should go. Quite apart from being a risk alone, there were inadequate preparations. There was no meal for him that day, for example.
And what was her reaction?
She said she would provide him with a packed lunch.
The case of Greenham against Quentin and the Fulchester Gazette will be continued in the Crown Court tomorrow. The case which you're about to see is a fictional one. The procedure, however, is legally accurate. The characters are played by actors, but the jury is selected from members of the public. Mr. Michael Greenham, a consultant surgeon, has accused Mrs. Sheila Quentin and the Fulchester Gazette of libel when they stated that he was negligent in discharging 74-year-old William Broadbent from hospital. He was readmitted 2 days later and a week later died. Jane Goddard, the medical social worker on Mr. Greenham's unit, disagreed with the discharge.
After seeing Mr. Broadbent, I went to Dr. Hargreaves.
Yes, and he is Mr. Greenham's registrar.
Yes. I told him I didn't think he should leave hospital. He said he'd looked at him and could see no reason why he shouldn't go. So I recorded my disagreement with the discharge on the medical notes.
I see. And did you see Mr. Broadbent again in the hospital on that day?
Yes. That morning, as I was passing through reception, I saw him sitting in a wheelchair waiting for the ambulance with a packet of sandwiches.
Did you speak to him?
No. Well, I suppose I'd shut him out of my mind, I'd gone on to other cases. But I had no power to do anything. Later that evening, as I got into my car to drive home, it suddenly hit me. I found myself driving to Mr. Broadbent's flat, and there I walked straight into the home help with Mrs. Quentin in full flight, who of course blamed me for the whole situation. Well, Mr. Broadbent was bewildered. 3 of us arguing in front of him, so I tried to get them out of the room. It was a horrible mess.
Was Mr. Broadbent in bed at this stage?
Yes.
Now, Miss Goddard, after your argument with Mrs. Quentin in Mr. Broadbent's flat on the day of his discharge, she, Mrs. Quentin, and the home help left, and later on the district nurse arrived. Now, what state was Mr. Broadbent in?
Awful. He looked awful. He was coughing and wheezing. Nurse gave him a sleeping tablet. I told her I'd phone his own GP, Dr. Stanton. I couldn't get through.
Have you ever registered your disagreement before?
Yes.
How many times?
Twice.
Twice including Mr. Broadbent?
3 times, including Mr. Broadbent.
Tell the court about the first 2 cases, please.
The first was an old lady, Mrs. Twiss. She was readmitted to the geriatric ward within a month.
The second?
Miss Fry. She was sent home in a dreadful state.
Now, when you objected to these patients being discharged, did you write that they were both at high risk?
Yes. Yes, they were.
Now, will you please tell the court exactly what you mean by high risk?
Well, high risk of accident or death.
And yet both ladies are alive and well.
They were bad discharges. Mrs. Twist suffered goodness knows what, to be carted out of hospital only to be carted back in again.
Miss Goddard, I am not without sympathy for your predicament, and indeed for that of elderly people in hospital. And I'm sure that the jury is not. But we must face facts. And the fact is that being old is in itself a high risk. And if you go on saying, well, this woman cannot be released from hospital, she might die. And no, you mustn't discharge that man from hospital. He might have an accident. He might die. Well, sooner or later, your prediction is bound to come true, is it not?
Well, that's a totally unfair argument. Either of those 2 women could have died. Well, I kept saying what might happen, and it did.
Oh, you mean Mr. Broadbent?
Yes.
Well, let's have a look at that, shall we? Now, on the ward rounds meeting of February the 9th, you argued against his discharge.
Yes.
And agreed to make an application for an old people's home, what you term Part 3.
To investigate it.
To investigate it. Did you investigate it?
I was going to.
No, did you?
Well, I had a lot of clearing up to do the Thursday and Friday before I went on the course.
Answer the question, Miss Goddard.
No.
No. Now, please answer just yes or no. After that meeting on the 9th, did you see Mr. Broadbent at all before you decided to go away?
No.
Yet Dr. Greenham asked you on the 9th to see him as a matter of some urgency, did he not?
Yes.
Yes, well, why didn't you see him?
Because I knew he would never agree to Part 3.
Who, Mr. Broadbent?
There was no point in talking to him about it.
Then why did you agree to investigate it?
Because... well, I thought it would hold the whole thing over until I got back.
Then we're to conclude that you were deliberately obstructive.
I did not think he was fit to go home.
21st of February, Monday morning, 9:15. You find out he's due to be discharged. Were you angry?
Yes, I was very angry.
For Broadbent or yourself?
I don't know what you mean.
Neither do I, my lord, nor do I see the point of all this.
Mr. Elliot?
With respect, my lord, I should have thought it were quite obvious. The point is that Miss Goddard's conduct has affected the whole course of this alleged negligent discharge. And as she is a major source of information for the defendant's comments, I humbly submit that I must be allowed to examine her.
Yes, I think Mr. Elliot must pursue that, Mr. Latimer.
As your lordship pleases.
Obliged, my lord. Now, on Monday morning, you find the decision to discharge Mr. Broadbent has been taken. Now, I suggest that your pride, your ego, your status was hurt.
Status? I felt that here was another old person shoved out who couldn't cope alone. The services would be a shambles and the son wouldn't visit because I knew he was always away and somebody other than the consultant would be left to pick up the pieces. Now, that's what I felt.
Pure concern for Mr. Broadbent, was it?
You seem surprised.
Now, Miss Goddard, just answer.
Yes, it was.
Is that why you had a slanging match within his hearing?
I did not.
sister's office was only 2 beds away from where he lay. Is that not correct?
Yes?
Were you shouting?
I may have raised my voice.
And may he have heard you, do you think?
He may have.
He may have. And then you come straight from this argument to his bedside. Is that true?
Yes?
Were you like you are now?
Like I am now?
A little disturbed, a little agitated.
Calm.
Really?
I was calm!
See? Did he ask you what the row was all about? Please remember, you are on oath.
Yes. He said, "Is it about me?" And I said, "No."
Ah, then he did hear you. What else did he say?
He asked me about his son. And he said, "The doctor says I'll be fine." And I said, "What do you really think?" I was prepared to stop and listen, you see, to find out what he really felt. Just jolly him along, and my God, he was depressed. The more he thought about it, the more he dreaded going back to live alone because he realized he couldn't cope.
Did you by any chance tell him that you thought he shouldn't go home?
I certainly did not. I had no power to stop the discharge.
Is the emotional state of an elderly person an important factor in that person's discharge from hospital?
Yes, of course.
If a patient feels, excuse me, if a patient feels he can do something, then he's halfway to doing it, is he not?
Yes.
And does this not mean, then, that once the decision was taken to discharge William Broadbent, it was your duty to encourage him in his return home?
It was my duty to be realistic.
What does that mean, please?
To find out how he really felt and not encourage him with false optimism just to get him out of the way.
Yes, but that led, you've told us, to his becoming depressed. And you've also told us that the emotional state is an important factor. So if this discharge failed, do you not stand there, at least partly to blame?
No. How can you say that? No.
At 12 o'clock, you walk through reception, you see William Broadbent waiting there. He's waiting for his ambulance. He's been there since 10:30. Yet you ignored him.
He didn't see me.
You didn't speak to him?
There was nothing more I could do. I had other clients.
No, I remember. You told my learned friend you'd shut your mind to it. That was what you said.
I went to see him that evening.
Why?
To find out how he was.
Was your conscience pricking you?
Well, yes.
Yes, because you yourself had been negligent that very morning.
My lord, what a question. I mean, how, in what way had the witness been negligent?
Miss Goddard, you agreed with learned counsel just now that your conscience was pricking you.
Yes?
Because of something you'd done or something you'd neglected to do?
Well, because... Well, I was so angry that morning that they'd gone behind my back. Well, that I admit. But later on I thought... Well, I realized I should at least have checked up on the son or the GP. And that's why I went there that night.
You felt you'd fallen below your usual standards?
Well, in a way, but I had disassociated myself from the case. If I cooperated with Mr. Greenham, I would have been helping him do something which I consider to be quite wrong.
Well, I'm sure the jury will understand your dilemma, Miss Goddard. Mr. Elliot, on the one hand, you're trying to show negligence is unfair comment against your client, and on the other, alleging it in this witness. Although your own client is arguably responsible, Miss Goddard was a member of his unit.
With great respect, my lord, Miss Goddard was employed by the local authority.
Ah, is that right?
Yes, all the medical social workers are, my lord, not by the health service.
Even though their offices are in the hospitals and they work very closely with the medical units?
Yes, my lord.
I see. Go on, Mr. Elliot.
Thank you, my lord. Now, when you got to Mr. Broadbent's flat, you found he was it awful? Wheezing? You tried to contact his GP and you found that the calls were being referred. Huh? Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you ask for the locum?
No.
Why not?
Because I thought his own GP, Dr. Stanton, more likely to get him back into hospital.
But in other words, you did not treat it as an emergency.
Well, no.
Well, think back. Did you think he was even ill that evening?
Yes.
Then why on earth didn't you get a doctor, Miss Goddard?
He was ill, but not that ill.
Oh, that's what awful wheezing means, does it?
It means awful wheezing.
You see, what I suggest is that your knowledge of what eventually happened to William Broadbent is colouring your whole recollection of it.
Oh, no. No, you're trying to make me do that. He looked awful and he was wheezing.
Yes, but you didn't call a doctor. Ah, well. Now, you no longer work at the Royal Infirmary Hospital, Fulchester, do you?
No, I've left hospital social work.
Why is that?
Because social workers in hospital have no power to do anything when it comes to it. Doctors have almost complete control.
You'd like some of that control, would you?
In decision-making, yes.
In what respect?
Well, I don't think doctors should have final say in geriatric discharge, for example. I think social circumstances are as important as medical factors.
Perhaps. In your last months at the hospital, did Mr. Greenham refer any of his patients to you?
No, but I was available for anyone who wanted help.
And how would you describe your working relationship with him at that time?
Not good.
Not good.
Well, it was non-existent because of this business. Well, he just wanted an old-fashioned hospital almoner who would think he was God and do exactly as she was told.
And is that the mood you went to Mrs. Quentin with this story?
I went because I think people should know what goes on.
Thank you, Miss Goddard.
Now, Miss Goddard, when you registered your disagreement with this discharge, did you take any further action?
Yes, I notified the head of my department. As the notes show, both he and the Director of Social Services supported my action.
Yes, now, at what time did you register your disagreement?
10 o'clock.
Yes. This means, therefore, that from that point, neither you nor the Social Services accepted any further responsibility for this discharge.
Yes.
Now, you may have suspected that the son would not call because he was very often away, and that the GP would not have been telephoned. But the actual responsibility in regard to all these matters had been assumed by Dr. Greenham and was most certainly his from 10 o'clock on that morning.
Yes.
Yes, I see.
But as soon as he left hospital, he was no one's responsibility. Not the AHA's, not the borough's. Well, that's the problem with the elderly who need nursing care. No one accepts responsibility for them. And that's why I went to his flat.
Yes. And do you still feel that these statements are true and the comments fair?
Absolutely true and absolutely fair.
Thank you.
Well, perhaps I could have done more, or acted differently. But the whole trouble started with the wrong discharge. I honestly think that's what caused his death.
Dr. Stanton, you were Mr. Broadbent's general practitioner.
I was, yes.
For how long?
For 16 years.
Yes. Now, did you know beforehand that he was being discharged on the 21st of February?
No, I received a letter later that week.
Yes. And do you think that you should have been informed of his discharge before he came out?
In an ideal world, no doubt I should. But it's not unusual. It's a consequence of the overloaded health service.
I see. Now, you were called out to see Mr. Broadbent on the day after his release, the day after. That is on Tuesday, the 21st of February.
I was. He had a slight fever, a temperature of 100.5, and was a bit chesty. I suspected he might have bronchopneumonia and had him readmitted to the Royal as an emergency.
Yes. Did you notice his hands?
There was some abrasion and bruising.
And were those marks consistent with him having been forced into his shirt and jacket?
Impossible to say. The bruises on someone old, like Mr. Broadbent, could have been caused by relatively slight knocks.
Yes, I see. Well, now, do you think that he should have been discharged?
That's not for me to say.
What is your opinion, Dr. Stanton?
My lord, I saw the patient 30 hours after his discharge. That might not seem a long time, but it may be a very long time indeed in the medical history of a frail and elderly person. Such a person could contract an infection and deteriorate extremely rapidly. I saw Mr. Broadbent on the Tuesday afternoon. It would be quite wrong, indeed impossible, for me to have an opinion about what his condition might have been early on Monday morning.
It is conceivable that he was fit enough to have been discharged on Monday morning.
Oh, yes, no doubt at all. You see, he was never going to be a very well person, in or out of hospital. He was an in-between, not sick enough to be in hospital, only just well enough to be out.
Thank you, Doctor. Yes?
Now, Dr. Stanton, did you telephone Miss Goddard at the hospital on the day after his release, that is to say on the Tuesday?
I was checking on the readmission and I spoke to her, yes.
And did you say, if he dies, it will be because of this discharge?
If I did, it was in the heat of the moment.
Yes, but did you say it?
I certainly lost my temper, but I honestly can't remember what I did say.
You can't remember, I see. But you were very angry.
I was very angry indeed. But I want to make it quite clear that I do not regard Mr. Greenham as negligent in any way. What made me so angry was a society which closes down hospitals when there is an acute shortage of beds. Of course people will die if you do that. But don't blame the doctors for it.
Really, Dr. Stanton, discharged on Monday, readmitted on Tuesday. Surely you must conclude that his final illness was caused by his premature release.
His illness was caused by a virus, sir.
Dr. Stanton, when you visited Mr. Broadbent on Tuesday the 21st, you saw the defendant, Mrs. Quentin.
It was hard to miss her. She was practically shouting in the street about it. I had difficulty at first in seeing the patient. She said, "There's a Mr. Greenham discharged for you." And as soon as I closed the door, she asked for, or rather demanded, a statement.
Did she? Did you give her one?
I did not. She had a photographer well ready to photograph the sick man as he was moved into the ambulance. I found it all rather distasteful. She seemed just out to make capital of it.
I see. Did she, at that time, say anything else about Mr. Greenham?
Yes. She said if he dies, Greenham ought to be thrown out of the hospital. I said, sounds to me as if you want him to die.
Thank you very much, Dr. Stanton.
It sounds to me as if you want him to die. Now, that was your subjective judgment of Mrs. Quentin's tone of voice, of her manner.
Oh, of course.
You don't like Mrs. Quentin, do you?
Not much. There are better ways of doing something for the elderly.
Really, I see. Well, now, can you tell me how it is that you can remember quite plainly your conversation with Mrs. Quentin down to the exact tone of her voice, and yet you are quite unable to remember your conversation with Miss Goddard 2 hours later when you rang her at the hospital?
I made some comments about the arrangements for the discharge, which at that time I thought she had been responsible for.
Yes, but are you denying that you were bitterly angry about this discharge?
Dr. Stanton?
I personally think the decision was a wrong one, but it was clearly within the realm of medical judgment, and it was Mr. Greenham's decision to make, no one else's. My lord, if lay people like Mrs. Quentin are allowed to hurl charges of negligence like this against doctors, it will make the practice of medicine in this city almost impossible.
Thank you, Dr. Stanton. Unless you have any further questions, my lord, that concludes the case for the defense.
No, you may leave the box, Dr. Stanton.
My lord, I'm not sure it's relevant.
What do you wish to say?
Well, a great deal has been said about Mr. Broadbent's death, but not much about Mr. Broadbent, what he wanted.
What he wanted?
Where he wanted to go from hospital.
Did he tell you?
Yes.
When?
Shortly before I readmitted him. He said, "Your lordship may find this completely trivial and impracticable."
Go on, Dr. Stanton.
Well, he was a close, shy man, but sometimes these are exactly the sort of people that come out with odd things. Shortly before his last long period in hospital, he told me he had had, well, I suppose you would describe her as a mistress, years before. He asked how he should set about retracing her. Well, I thought this rather fanciful, but I suggested an ad in the local paper, the Fulchester Gazette, as it happens. Somewhat to my surprise, he found the lady. She was in an old person's home, Beach House. For a short time before going into hospital, he managed to visit her. I encouraged him because I thought it gave him something to live for.
And he wanted to go into this home, did he?
Well, I'm not sure that it was at all practicable, but I think he was serious. But when I examined him, prior to readmission on the Sunday afternoon, he said, "Can you get me into Beach House, doctor?"
He would have accepted a discharge to Part 3.
He would have accepted a discharge to Beach House.
What you're saying, what you're suggesting, is that everybody's got a piece of the jigsaw, but nobody the picture. There should have been more consultation before the discharge, is that it?
Yeah, my lord, to be honest, I'm saying that if I had been invited to a pre-discharge case conference, 10 to 1 I couldn't or wouldn't have gone. I'm saying it's a tragic business, but I don't see how anyone can fairly throw the charge of negligence at one person rather than another.
Comment is an individual reaction to facts. The basic facts here are that William Broadbent was discharged from hospital by Mr. Greenham, was readmitted, and within a week died. Mrs. Quentin's published comment is that Mr. Greenham was negligent and that discharge caused the death. Now, that statement need not be true for you to find for the defense. It is an opinion. For that opinion to qualify as fair comment, it must be on a matter of public interest, it must be an honestly held opinion, and there must be no malicious motive in making it. Now, you may think that the procedure for discharging elderly people from hospital is a matter of public interest, but that is for you to decide. Then, have the defence convinced you, on balance, that any honest person could sincerely make this comment? You may think that Mrs. Quentin is a highly opinionated, prejudiced person. That doesn't matter. She's entitled to her opinion, and to express it if you think it's one that she could reasonably have held. If, on the other hand, you think, well, it may not be true, but it's a fair comment for Mrs. Quentin to make, and it's in the public interest for her to make it, then you must examine very carefully her reasons for making it. Now, the burden of proof passes here to the plaintiff. Has the plaintiff satisfied you that Mrs. Quentin's campaign for the elderly has turned into a personal vendetta against him? Had she become so obsessed with her crusade that she was determined to show negligence in Broadbent's discharge, whether it was there or not? If you are satisfied that there was any malice or improper motive in that statement, then you must find for the plaintiff. Now, will you please retire and consider the matter?
All stand.
Members of the jury, will your foreman please stand? Please answer this question yes or no. Have you reached a verdict on which you are all agreed?
Yes.
Do you find for the defendants, Sheila Quentin and the Fulchester Gazette, or for the plaintiff, Mr. Michael Greenham?
For the plaintiff.
How much do you award him as damages as against each defendant?
£50 against Mrs. Quentin and £500 against the Fulchester Gazette.
With respect to your lordship, I ask for judgment in those terms with costs.
Very well, then.
The cases in Fulchester Crown Court are fictitious, but the jury is composed of members of the general public.